everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lucy and in today's video I am showing you my classics collection. So I'm a huge classics fan and I've definitely read a lot of classics over the years. So my collection has been growing and I just really wanted to make a video where I basically talk you guys through all the classics that I have on my bookshelves. So ones that I have to read, but also ones that I've just collected because they're just so beautiful, you know? So there's a lot of gorgeous classics here. If you're looking for some aesthetic books to buy, then this video might be for you. So before we do get cracking on with the video, please do make sure you subscribe to this channel. That way you will never miss a video from me. Let's just get cracking because I need to grab my tea. So I'm sat here with my cup of tea and feeling all cozy on this sunny autumnal day. We are just going to go through all of my classics and I really hope you enjoy this video. So I really want to start off with my Jane Austen collection because your girl here is a huge Austenite. I started reading Jane Austen when I was like 13 years old and basically read all of her books by the age of like 18. I'm a big Jane Austen fan and usually you can see me rereading a Jane Austen book or two over the years. And the editions that I kind of chose to complete my collection are the headline review editions. So we have Mansfield Park. So I really like how each of these books, first let me show you the whole set. They are each very like pastel-y, so they just look really beautiful on your bookshelf and honestly I just find them so aesthetic. There's a little bit of gold foiling here on the spines, so when they're like on your bookshelf they just look really pretty. I just love these editions so much. So as I was saying, yes, we have Mansfield Park, which is this really nice like blue version. There's a little bit of foiling on the front cover. And honestly, like, I love how this looks. Also, all these editions have introductions and reading group questions. So, you know, if you want to know a little bit more behind the novel, it's really interesting to do further reading that way. Then we have my very beloved copy of Pride and Prejudice. So as you can see, this one is like a yellow and a pink, so it's got a gorgeous like pink spine there, and I just think this one looks super great on your bookshelves as well because of the pink. It's just super lovely. So I don't know if you can just see how gorgeous it is. I'm a big fan. Then we have Northanger Abbey, which is so gorgeous. This is like a really hot bright pink spine and a really cute illustration on the cover. We then have Sense and Sensibility, which has a very like pale pink book cover, but then actually the spine is like this kind of blue, which is super cute, and I really like the look of this one. Then we have Persuasion, and Persuasion is a really cute blue as well, kind of like a purpley, and again, you've got that kind of like motif on the cover there. And then finally, we have one of my favorite kind of color works. We have Emma, and Emma has this gorgeous like yellow cover with this really nice blue spine, which I love. So these are my Jane Austen books. I am a big fan, and I do have other Jane Austen books, which you will see in, you know, a few moments time. But these are like my main collection that I always keep together because they look so gorgeous on my bookshelves. So I'll try to find these editions online and leave them in the description bar below so you can pick these up if you want to get them for yourself. So then I have two vintage classics. So I have my vintage edition of Agnes Grey. This is by Anne Bronte, and actually I read this in the past few years and loved Agnes Grey. So I really do want to get more of Anne Bronte's books, but also get it in this edition. So the vintage editions have these gorgeous red spines, as you can see. Very aesthetic on your bookshelves, and I love the cover illustration of Agnes Grey as well. Then we have another vintage classics. This is Vintage Keats. I am a huge John Keats fan. John Keats is a romantic poet. I've studied him a lot over the years and actually wrote my final year university dissertation on John Keats. So you could say I'm a massive John Keats fan. His poetry actually made me want to study English at university, so super fan right here. But I have the complete poems and selected letters of John Keats, and this cover is actually from the film Bright Star, which is about John Keats and Fanny Brawne, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's just like the loveliest cover. And this edition actually has an introduction by the director of the film Bright Star, which obviously was about John Keats's life. So I feel like a rewatch of Bright Star is coming on. I don't know if any of you guys have seen that film. Oh, it's incredible. I love it. So John Keats's poetry, I do want to get more editions of John Keats's poetry. I've tried to find some really pretty editions online, but I just can't find any good editions of his kind of complete works. So if you're a Keats fan and you have a really good edition, can you let me know down in the comments if, you know, there's any that you would recommend? Because I can't believe I only have like one edition of John Keats. I feel like I have more back in my family home, but in my London house I don't have any other editions, which is really sad. So I do need to broaden my collection and get some more editions of John Keats's poems. Then we have like a second-hand edition, which is another vintage classics, but this is a very second-hand edition of Dodie Smith's I Capture the Castle. Now, I haven't actually read this book. I bought this second-hand. I think I got it like in a second-hand shop or like a charity shop or something. But I've heard so many great things about I Capture the Castle. It's very much a modern classic, I would say, because I'm pretty sure that Dodie Smith was writing in the early 20th century, which obviously is a lot more recent than Jane Austen and John Keats. So I really do want to read this very, very soon. I know that this is beloved by so many people. So many people love I Capture the Castle, and I just want to get in on the hype, you know. I want to understand why people love this book so much. So I hope to read this book very soon, but I do like this very, very simple edition of I Capture the Castle. Okay, next up we have a edition of Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier. So I recently read this on holiday in Cornwall and it was so atmospheric, so incredible. I will leave a link to that vlog down below so you can like see me reading Jamaica Inn, but oh my god, I was hooked. And I adore this edition, guys. It is the Virago Modern Classics edition, and like, wow. I love the cover illustration, I love the foil on Jamaica Inn's text, and it just looks super cute on your bookshelf as well. So I'm a big fan of this edition. I think it's really, really cute. Then I wanted to talk about some decorative classics that I managed to find in charity shops. So if you are looking to kind of really broaden out your classics collection and you want some really unusual editions, charity shops are really the way to go, because they really do have a lot of older versions of classics and more kind of like vintagey like versions and editions. So charity shops are the way to go for classics in my opinion. So I actually found these two really old looking, gorgeous books in separate charity shops. The first one is Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell. So I don't know if you can appreciate this spine here, but look how foiled and beautiful it is. And I really, really like the kind of foil here, and it just looks so old and lovely. Like, oh my gosh, I am a big, big fan of this edition. And I don't really know much about the edition, but it does come, which is an essential, with a ribbon. I love any classic that comes with a ribbon. It just adds to the reading experience, you know. The next find I managed to find in a charity shop was The Tenant of Wildfell Hall and Agnes Grey by Anne Bronte. Like, look at this edition, guys. Like, is this not the most like stunning thing you have seen? Like, oh my god. I'm just a little bit obsessed with this. I think it just looks really, really cute, and I love the kind of foil on the spine. Perfection. So this edition is actually from 1954. Which I think is really, really amazing. Yeah, another great charity shop find, what can I say? Another lovely, lovely edition is this edition of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. So this is the V&A Penguin Classics edition, and I honestly just like adore this edition. So this is like a really kind of shorter format than a usual kind of B format book, I guess, like a normal sized book. For example, this one is a little bit shorter. And basically this cover pattern is actually from the V&A's William Morris collection. So that really adds something extra to the book jacket and design of this. And I just love that it is like a William Morris inspired print. I just think that makes it like super special and super, super lovely. Another absolutely stunning edition is this edition of Wuthering Heights. So this is Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. And this actually was bought for me as a gift. But I know that this edition is like a Penguin Classics edition for anthropology. Like, I think my friend found this edition in an anthropology store. So I must say about this one is, though it is a work of beauty, like look at this book, right? Seriously, can we just appreciate it? Also the deckled edges, oh, I love it. I love it so much. Though this is obviously a really pretty edition, it's strange that this is the kind of like pattern for Wuthering Heights, because Wuthering Heights is quite a dark classic, like quite a depressing, moody book. And they've made it look so like cheery and happy and flouncy. But I've got to say, this always sticks out on my bookshelves. It looks so, so stunning. I'm just a big, big fan. I think it is a stunning, stunning edition. Okay, so I think it's time to go on to the Penguin Classics. I have quite a few of these, so bear with me. The first one is a Penguin English Library edition, and this is North and South by Elizabeth Gaskell. So I'm a huge North and South fan. I adore Elizabeth Gaskell. I love North and South, one of my favorite classics of all time. So I saw this edition and just like had to get it. Like I was like, oh, it is just so stunning. Let me kind of show you. So it's got kind of little threads and little spools of kind of thread here, because obviously the book is about a kind of mill owner and, you know, an industrial northern town. So then the spine as well is just completely stunning. And I just love the look of this edition on my bookshelves. I just think it looks super, super aesthetic. And I do really want to collect more in the kind of Penguin English Library like editions, because I think they look really gorgeous and I love this book cover so, so much. Then we have just two kind of standard Penguin classics, which are this very kind of traditional black and white kind of format, I guess. So the first book is Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. I haven't read this book yet, guys. It is so, so chunky, I can't even tell you. I do want to read this book at some point in my life, but I just think like, maybe not anytime soon, you know? This is just your classic standard Penguin classic. I mean, you know, you've got kind of a cover illustration here, the kind of orange text, and the kind of traditional black and white look of it. These do look really good on your bookshelves, like if you are looking for some like cheaper classics. And also I think there's more classics in this range than perhaps the Penguin English Library collection, for example. But I'm a huge fan of just a standard Penguin classic, and I will get around to reading Anna Karenina very, very soon. The next book I wanted to mention was another Penguin classic, and it is A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. This is another book that I haven't read yet, but I will at some point. It is a goal of mine to read A Tale of Two Cities sometime in the next few years, I think. But basically I've had this book since I was at university, and I've been meaning to read it since then and just haven't. So this is just the standard Penguin classic look. You've got the illustration and then, you know, just a simple thing, but it looks good on your bookshelves, you know. And then I wanted to mention the most gorgeous collection, which I'm really trying to buy more of over the years and really broaden out my collection. These are the Penguin Clothbound Classics, and these are the most stunning classics ever. I love them so much. These are like the perfect gift, perfect Christmas presents if you're looking for gifts at this time of year. So let me talk through the books that I have in this collection. So the first one is Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, and look how special this is. This is honestly absolutely stunning. Like, you've got this really kind of amazing heart, and this is, like the name suggests, cloth, so it feels so nice. It's obviously a hardback, so it looks great on your bookshelves. I'm a big fan of this. I got this as a gift, and I think they really do make great gifts. The next one I have is Jane Eyre, and this is a lovely leaf pattern, which I just think is super, super gorgeous. All of these book designs as well are designed by Coralie Bickford-Smith, who is a very famous like book jacket designer, I believe. So I really love the look of this Jane Eyre edition. Again, we've got that nice chunky hardback. We've got a ribbon. I love a ribbon, what can I say? I really love the look of Jane Eyre as well. And then we have Pride and Prejudice, and I had to get a clothbound classic of Pride and Prejudice because it's my favorite classic ever. The one thing I don't like about this edition is the color. I'm not mad for this like kind of browny yellow, you know? But anyway, we've got this like lovely kind of like heron or swan design. And yeah, this isn't my favorite, I must say, but it does look very striking on your bookshelves. I'm just not mad about the colour really, which is a shame. But anyway, and probably my favourite Clothbound classic is The Odyssey by Homer. So look at this stunning, stunning book, guys. Like, wow, like these ocean waves, the colour, the kind of really rich tealy blue. It's just absolutely stunning and actually looks really good on your bookshelves as well. And then the final kind of classic I wanted to mention is a really like cute small book. And it is this little pamphlet, which is The History of England by a partial, prejudiced and ignorant historian by Jane Austen. And it says on the front cover, there'll be very few dates in this history. So this actually was a little kind of history book that Jane Austen wrote for her sister Cassandra. And basically they sell these little editions in the Jane Austen Museum in Bath. I'd really recommend going there if you're a Jane Austen addict like me, but I knew I had to pick this up just because it looks so cute and so special on your bookshelves. So I'm just a big fan of this, and I also really love the kind of like little illustrations in there. It just looks super, super cute. So guys, that is it for my classics collection. It must be said, this isn't a complete collection because a lot of my classics, for example, I did study English literature at the university. A lot of my classics are actually still at home, back in my family home in the northeast of England. So I haven't yet, even after like nearly 8 years of living in London, I haven't quite moved all my classics into my house in London just because there are so many of them and I do not have the space. So I have a selection of classics here, all my like most loved classics, I would say. Like these are my favorite books, you know, these are my favorite classics. And I just am a big fan of a classic. So let me know down below, what is your favorite classic in your collection? I would love to hear your thoughts. And thank you so, so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time, guys, with another video. Bye.